Hello and welcome. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Dagger. So the Dagger is the next in my line of modded corvette ships. And I built this one primarily after just building the rocket. I wanted to see if I were to extend that ship a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, and add one more engine. The extra engine provides a good bit more thrust, which therefore provides a good larger amount of mass available before you start taking hits to your maneuverability. However, the downside is it does also take more power, so you've got less power to allocate to your weapons. I did decide to keep this as a Class A ship, though I was debating about upgrading the reactor to a Class B one. And I also kind of wanted to make it look a little bit more like one of the more traditional, airplanes. And that's what we ended up with. So let's go ahead and take the quick interior tour, and then I will show you how it's built. Alright, so you can see that I have us entering directly into the armory, and I chose to have a Nova Galactic armory for this one, more just because I thought the exterior flowed a little bit better than any other reason. We've got the docking at bridge access right here, and landing access right there, so it's all accessible from the armory. Back here, we have the Tayo 2x1 all-in-one. You can make that any other all-in-one as well. And then forward, we have our cockpit. Nice and simple. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at how this ship was built then. So for this particular ship, I am using mods. The relevant ones are the better ship part flips and snaps, and the play stores yourself. The better ship part snaps is what allows you to have this located right here. Um, if you did not have this, you would need to add an extra piece, or actually, no, you would not be able to have this shape at all without the better ship part flips and snaps. Just because you cannot put this in this position, um, it would either be connecting outwards like this, and you'd have to connect it here, or like this and be connecting out here, and then you have that gap. So you could do something similar to this without the mods, but you can't have this full shape here. Other than that, the HE3 tanks here that are located on the underside are usable by the better ship part flips. Without the mod, these would need to be placed somewhere else, likely like against the side of this docker. So if you want to build this ship without mods, you can get something very similar, but not quite exactly the same. Alright, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get our colors in our palette. And you can see I decided that I still like the red and gold theme. And then let's select all and delete it. Alright, so if I come over here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the NG6 landing bay. And then I'm going to come on over here to my cockpits. And you can see, because I have that extra mass available, I'm going with the Commander 500 bridge, though you could go with any of the Armstrongs as well. If you either wanted to save a bit on mass, see this one's only 11 mass or 15 mass versus 30 mass, and that little bit of mass could lead to a performance improvement in the mobility score. Alright, next up I am going to go ahead and place my HAB. This one is going to be the Nova Galactic Armory. And you can make this whatever hab you want. I just like the general lines of the Nova Galactic here. Next, because I'm using the place doors yourself, I do need to go ahead and place a door right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that Tayo all-in-one top B. I need the top B because I do need the side connection points here. And then finally, right on the back side of the armory, I'm going to go ahead and place my docker. And here I use the NG2 docker. I was contemplating trying to hide a docker using, say, the Extend port or the Connect Pro. However, because I put a weapon on top of my connection points, it had my Docker not be the top thing, which therefore caused it to not work. So that's why I ended up using the NG2. Alright, so that is all the habitable parts of the ship. Let's go ahead now and come on to the bottom and let's fill out the bottom here. So first things first, I need to go ahead and grab my landing gear. And here I have a pair of the NG20 landing gear. One of the things that I could do is I could change this to the wide to kind of fill out this space instead of having it be the narrow version. And if you want to save a little bit of mass to negate the mobility penalty, I would recommend doing that. Or if you need these side connections, for example, if you're building unmodded. Alright, then on the back, I'm going to go ahead and put a cargo container. And I'm using the Hauler 10T cargo hold. Then, let's come on over to the structural tab. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the Nova cowling, put it in the bottom variant, and then place that there. And you can see I added 16 extra mass for this to kind of fill out that shape. If I decided that I would rather go ahead and do this instead to kind of fill out that shape, I would be able to save that 16 mass. So if you are okay with this look versus having this here, I would do that instead because with how light this ship is, the extra mobility or the extra mass does affect your mobility some. All right, so we have gone ahead and finished the bottom. So let's go ahead now and just make it easy on ourselves, and we're going to finish the top. So I'm going to take these Nova cowlings, and I'm going to place one right there, and one right there. Nice and easy. You can see there's a little bit of clipping into the cockpit, but it's not visible internally, and it does help make that Armstrong or Commander 500 bridge flow smoothly into the rest of the ship. Alright, now let's go to the sides. So, first things first, let's go ahead and grab the reactor, which is going to be that Spheromac DC-202. And we are going to place that there. Do note that the Spheromac does not have a rear connection point, which means that if you are doing unmodded, you do need to have something here that will give you this rear connection point, otherwise the engines will not be able to connect. Speaking of engines, let's go ahead and grab that engine. And I'm using a pair of the White Dwarf 3015s. On this side, if I go on over to the grav drives, you can see that I was able to get away with an R2000, and that was still able to give me the 27 light years jump range. Then back here, let's come on over to the structural tab. And I have the Hope Tech Nose B, just connected right on the back. If you use a different hab here, you could also go ahead and look at putting a porthole on the back. However, doing that on the Tayo hab would eliminate one of the bunk beds and reduce the number of beds down. Not entirely relevant for normal gameplay purposes, but for role-playing purposes, I figured that it could make a difference. All right. Next up, on the underside of these engines, I have my fuel tanks. And here I have a pair of the 100Gs, or, and this just gives me a total of 100 fuel. All right. Now then, let's come on over to my shields. And you can see here that I use the Deflector SG60 shield generator. So I could go ahead and take this and mount it like on the side here. Um, and that would be something that I would do if I was playing unmodded. But with the mods, you can actually go ahead and change the orientation to something like the rear, and then be able to place that there and hide it. So that's where my shield is located. It's just connected on the back right here. Then, let's come on over to the structural tab, and we are going to come on down until we grab the Deimos Wing A's. Alright, so I have 3 of the Wing A's on each side, and if I take this grav drive and move it, you can see that with the better ship part flips and snaps, that we have connection points on the back of and the front of these wings. So I can actually take this and I can connect them in a line like this, or in this case, I am actually connecting this to the back right here on the engine. So that is how this is being connected. And then when I put this back in here, now this is what's holding the engine in place. You can see a similar thing just happened there. Then I'm going to remove that and place that back in. Ta-da! And that is the overall shape. Alright, so from here, and you can see I do have a mobility of only 87 now. That's going to drop a little bit more, but I will demonstrate what happens if you delete these two in a little bit. So for weapons, I went ahead and put on 3 of the Vaporizer 35 MeV proton beams. Again, not the auto weapons. And then I put on 4 of the Disruptor 3310 proton beams. And that, as you can see, is the ship. So I need 39 power, I get 33. With anitronic fusion, that bumps it up to 38. And then if you put, say, Vasco on board, that'll give you 39. So you can fully power everything on the ship except for the grav drive. Now, as mentioned, this is 8 mass each for each of these 2 pieces, and we have 83 mobility. If we want to raise our mobility, we've got 2 options. For option 1, I can go ahead and I can delete these 2 pieces, and that's able to bring us up to 87 mobility. Or we can go ahead and swap out the Hauler 10Ts and exchange that out for the Ballast 100. And you can see that's able to give us 100 mobility and slightly more jump range, but we do drop to only 570 cargo versus 945. Now, personally, I find 83 mobility to be enough, but I wouldn't really want to drop much below 80 with a ship like this. Alright, so enough talking. Let's go ahead, paint the ship up, and give it a test drive. Okay. And you can see we have just enough fuel to jump all the way to Serpentis. So standard, fly backwards and shoot. Come on. And they got my engines, so now I die. So, got a little bit too tricksy there, and because I did not give them space, and let me also do this. Um, so that way there's less bothering me. Ooh. And once again, I took them a little bit too lightly, and they managed to blow up my engines. So we now have to go ahead and give it another minute while our engines repair. Because 70 speed is not going to be enough to outrun anybody. And if we let it get repaired one more level, we probably will have enough speed to be able to outrun any opponents. It's one of the advantages of the White Dwarf engine line. as that pushes up to 143, which is about the same distance as a Class B ship. And more random settlers. Okay. Does not look like anybody wants to show up today. There we go. Nice, quick, and easy. Two ships. Three ships. Much as I would love to just turn around and finish him off, need to get some range. Alright, let's close in. Alright. Let's go ahead and see if we can find one more friend. Just a single vigil? Alrighty. And with that, thank you very much. And I will see you in the next one.